PrimeTime Grille. Luke Queen here this evening for Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk. Been a while since we've been out here, but it's good to be back. And joining me here in our first segment is men's head coach Aaron Steventhall. Coach, welcome in again tonight.
Yeah, Luke, good seeing you.
Yeah, glad you guys have been playing some basketball games between our last talk and this one, so gives us quite a few games to talk about. Been playing well since we last talked too. Had one couple losses in there, but mainly it's been a lot of wins. You guys have been playing good basketball. We'll start out just by going back into last night's basketball game. Took on Tabor. Really, I felt like you guys dictated tempo from the opening tip, and Tabor, I don't think, wanted to play at your tempo, and you guys really controlled it and played well.
Yeah, I think it started with our defense. We're really locked in defensively. Their three guards are really skilled and can really get to the rim. They're tough to keep in front. So that was our main thing, is keeping them away from the rim, out of the paint. I think we did a really good job of that. And if we can get stops and boards, we can run. And there's not a lot of teams in the country that I think want to try to run with us. And then, when we were running, then we did a great job of sharing the ball. We had 24 assists on 37 made baskets. So that's a really high percentage. So ball really moved well, but it always starts with our defense and our rebounding, and I think really did a good job of being locked in. I think that's probably the best start we've had all year of a ball game. So we'd had some slow starts before that and kind of work our way back in there, but that was definitely a great start for us, and as always, good to be back in Wilson Fieldhouse.
Absolutely, and like you said, probably one of your best starts of the year, if not the best one. Jumped out early and kind of shocked Tabor a little bit. I think they couldn't get those guards going, and they seemed to be settling for some jumpers in that early portion, instead of attacking the basket. I definitely could see them. They were able to turn the corner and get to the basket. They had some terrific athletes and terrific ball handlers, and you guys really did a nice job of shutting them down. And it was, I couldn't say which defender it was. It was pretty much all the guys out there on the perimeter stopping their perimeter attack.
Yeah, just like on the offensive end, we want to play a team game. It's the same thing on defense. We have a team concept that, it's not one guy shutting down one guy. I mean, we switch on handoffs and ball screens 1 through 4. So, guards are switching with each other. So you're going to have different people matched up on different people all the time. So for us, it's about our team identity defensively and playing a team game. And, I think we really, like you said, we controlled the tempo. We moved really well. We cut really well, and then shared the ball out really well. And we do that. Usually we make shots, which we did pretty good last night too.
Yeah, it was a fun ball game to be a part, be on the call for and to watch. 93-79 last night over Tabor. And busy week here for you. After last night's game, that would have been, 4 games in less than 7 days and 3 victories. So 750 winning percentage in less than a week when you play that much. How difficult is it to manage just that part of it as you've had those 7 games, 3, and then you had the day off, go at it tomorrow, and then you're back on the court Saturday in a tough game. So, how do you manage the time in those 4 games in 7 days?
Yeah, we were actually supposed to have 1 game this week. Our only scheduled game was supposed to be against Oklahoma Wesleyan on Saturday, and so just because of obviously missing games in the first semester, it was good to get these 2 scheduled on Monday against Southwestern, obviously last night against Tabor. It's a lot easier to handle now because we were able to come back from Christmas break and practice and feel like we're kind of in a groove, where when we were playing 7 games in 17 days first semester, we were coming out of quarantine doing that, and so it really felt like we were out of sorts and hadn't practiced and weren't really on the same page. And so for us to be able to kind of have more of a normal semester here so far, it's been fine. I say all the time, we play fast and we run a lot, but these guys are still 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys. Like, if you can't play 3 basketball games in a week, then we're not doing our job as coaches of getting them in shape. So,
well, just getting in the kind of an advanced scout, you're starting to turn around where you've seen a couple teams twice already, but you're getting into that portion where these teams that you would have seen the first semester, this would have been the second time, and you got a couple games upcoming with them. So, how important is that advanced scout to go in, or is it more just a quick scout and, guys, if we do our stuff, we're going to get this done?
Yeah, we don't spend a ton of time. We probably spend about, with the team, we probably spend about 15 minutes of scout and film in the film room, 15 to 20 minutes for each team, and then we spend another 10 or 15 on the court before every game. So, it's a good 30, 35, 40 minutes, which I think is probably pretty low for most college teams. And that's really just because I think we want to dictate what we do, and we're kind of more worried about us than we are with them. Our big thing is our guys need to know, is the guy a shooter, is he a driver, individual tendencies, and then basically, we feel like for most of the offensive things people can do, we have some sort of strategy for those. It's when we see something that's a little different or a wrinkle that's new or, we haven't talked about, that's what we're really focused on in our scout. So, obviously it helps to play a team twice, you know them better, but obviously then they know you better. So, it's a crazy week. We play Southwestern on Monday. We played Tabor yesterday. Well, guess who we play next week? Southwestern and Tabor. So, it's crazy. It is what it is. I'm just glad we're playing and feel like we're kind of trending in the right direction.
Well, let's go back 7 days ago because you guys went on the road, supposed to play St. Mary's, a week ago Saturday. It got postponed with a positive case at St. Mary's that had to do with them postponing that Saturday matchup. Then you were supposed to turn around and play them again on Wednesday, and that game gets pushed back a day. But, hey, all their tests come back negative this time. You guys get on the bus and go up to St. Mary, and, not many places you can say this about, but the gym in Leavenworth has been a struggle for you in your career, and the way the team played and really handled St. Mary 106-81, and I felt like it could have been maybe even a little bit more, but the team played great and, go up there and finally get a win in Leavenworth.
Yeah, it has been a tough place to play. I don't know why. And typically when we play up there, it's been tough for us, but it's been bad basketball for both teams, and their coach would tell you the same thing. I remember specifically asking officials one time about 10 minutes into the game up there if we could just start the game over because we're setting the game of basketball back about 20 years. Nobody could catch, nobody could pass. I don't know what goes on up there, but, it was nice to get up there and play and see those guys, and it wasn't a great start, but man, we just kept pushing and it's kind of the start of Jaquan going crazy, which was fun to watch, and they're down a little bit because of COVID and had some issues with their school and everything, and Troy's a good friend of mine at St. Mary. He does a great job, and I know he was just happy to be out there and playing again, so I feel for those guys a little bit, but we're still going to enjoy that win and put it in the record book for sure.
Well, and you kind of hinted towards my next one. We go into you play on Thursday, you go in on Saturday. You've got Kansas Wesleyan last Saturday, and a game that was a lot different than what we had yesterday. You guys struggled out of the gate. I think the first point was put up a free throw by Jaquan over 4 minutes into the ball game, but you get going and then look up at halftime, and all of a sudden you guys got 40 points on the board. Come away with an 88-82 victory on that day, so obviously a good win against a good program. Again, every win in the KCAC is always tough and it's always good, but Jaquan Daniels, not quite as good apparently against Kansas Wesleyan as was against St. Mary's. He only had 34 instead of 35, but tremendous team win again. But let's talk about the week that Jaquan Daniels had last week. NAIA National Player of the Week. It's got to be recognized, got to be talked about. It's a really great honor for him.
Yeah, I think the good things about that, as our team has won, it was in 2 wins, and we don't spend a lot of time talking about individual accolades, but the one thing I do tell our guys is the only way you get individual accolades is when the team is successful. Like, no one cares if you scored 35 and you got beat by 22 times. That's so. It's important that our guys understand that. He was just playing out of his mind. He shot 55% from 2. I think he shot like 65% from 3. He was just out of his mind. And the thing about Jaquan he's, in my opinion, he's the best defender in the league as well. I mean, he guards 1 through 5. He's, I think, second in the league in steals. He's top 15 in the league in rebounds. He does a little bit of everything, and so I think he's the best player in the league because of how it can impact the game on both ends. He's the leading scorer in the league right now, so he can really impact the game on both ends. So, quite frankly, I think he should have got KCAC Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week. He averaged 5.5 steals in that week too. So, I guess National Player of the Week kind of makes up for that. So we'll live with that. But great honor for Jaquan, but he's a team guy, and he wants the team success first. And it was fun to watch. And I think the cool thing about our team is when somebody gets going, as we saw like with Ian Moore when we lost to McPherson. I mean, if somebody gets going, man, we're going to get him the ball, and so it was fun to watch. And I don't care if we win with him scoring 35 or he scored 13 last night. He was just as happy, just as excited about the team wins. And after both games, I think it was funny. I heard Jackson Mallory say, "Hey, Jaquan and I combined almost scored 40 points." So, the guys have a good time with each other, and it's always a lot more fun when you can do that after a win.
Absolutely, and the win makes a big difference. But like you said, on top of just scoring the points, averaging 5.5 steals per ball game, that and I think it was 7 rebounds a game as well. I didn't get them all every stat, but really what it comes down to is 2 victories, because you don't get that with a loss. And there's a leading scorer on that team that loses every game too, but he was in his zone last week, and I got to watch one of them live and one of them on the stream, and it was a joy to watch for sure. The one blemish here since the holiday break is that game against Southwestern on Monday. Southwestern's been a top quality program in the KCAC for years, right up at the top of there. And as we discussed earlier, very long team. That was my question to you, and you kind of explained that. And that kind of showed up in the stat line that I was looking at. They out-rebounded you by quite a number there, but then when you tell me how tall they were, I can kind of see maybe a little bit of a reason there.
Yeah, they're a huge team. I mean, they go 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". They're big for sure. I think for us, we weren't very good defensively. We weren't as locked in as we could have been, and I think we kind of settled on some shots that we probably should have maybe passed up and shot a better shot. So, which is things we've been preaching. And you know what? We did a much better job of both of those things, last night. So, we're getting better. Tough place to play. It's a really good basketball team. We came out to a great start there, got a good whistle. We're going to free throw line, and just there was about a 7-minute stretch in the second half where we got a bunch of stops, got a bunch of boards, but we just couldn't score. And part of that was we were taking bad shots. Not bad shots, just okay shots. And they weren't going in, and a lot of that is because of their length. I think their length bothered us more on just getting our shots off and that kind of stuff and the rebounds. I mean, obviously I want to be a good rebounding team, but we're just, we're not very big. And for us, our kind of philosophy is if we can get defensive rebounds, then we can go. But teams have to make a decision. They can either hit the offensive glass or they can get back. But if they don't get back and we get the board, we're going to go lay it up. So, and it's one of those occasions where they went and got boards. But to me, it was a lot about what we did and didn't do compared to what they did. Not to take anything away from their win. Good quality ball club, but we didn't play good team basketball really on either end. And lucky for us, we got that ship righted pretty quick on Wednesday last night.
All right, well, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we'll kind of look ahead here as the Braves will be on the road this weekend to take on always a tough Oklahoma Wesleyan ball club, but we're going to take our break right now. You're listening to Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk here on 1220 and 103.7 FM, KOFO.
Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know your comprehensive from your collision, your no fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa, or visit online at keithking.net. ottawauniversity.net.
It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education, Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
This is Craig Dingle of Dingle and Son Mortuary. We love all of our kids and do stuff for them all the time, even the grown-up kids. I have a suggestion of something you can do that you may not have thought of. Make your funeral arrangements. You can't imagine how stressful it is for families who have no clue as to what their folks wanted or where to find all the information needed for the death certificate. We can help you make formal arrangements, or we can give you forms to fill out at home. Give us a call at any one of our funeral homes. We're glad to help.
Dingle and Son Mortuary, 785-242-2323.
You know why your tagline is not "When it's game time, it's prime time"? Well, how many screens do you have at home? Uh-huh. At PrimeTime Grille at Fusion Alley, you've got over 40 screens to watch whatever game time it is, including the Ottawa High and Ottawa Middle School teams through the USD 290 Ottawa Sports Network. PrimeTime Grille can stream any of the games you request. Support your hometown team and enjoy the fine Kansas cuisine of PrimeTime Grille at the same time at PrimeTime. Appetizers, drinks, entrees, salads, and more while you watch the Cyclones or the Whirlwinds in action. Now you know, when it's game time, it's prime time.
Last night's sleep? Interrupted by pain? Tonight, silence it with new ZQL Night Pain. Restful sleep, now with powerful pain relief. ZQL Night Pain combines America's #1 sleep aid with a maximum strength pain reliever, so you can fall asleep fast and wake feeling rested, because pain should never get in the way of a great night's sleep. New ZQL Night Pain. Silence pain. Sleep soundly. Available at retailers near you.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Yeah, welcome back here inside PrimeTime Grille. Luke Queen with you for Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk. And again, joined by men's head coach Aaron Steventhall. And Coach, got another big one coming up, as every one of them at this point is a big game, conference games, with just about 30 days left in the conference season. And played 11 conference games right now, and there are 24 on the schedule, so a lot of basketball between now and February the 20th. But going on the road down to Bartlesville, taking on Oklahoma Wesleyan, currently in the second place position in the KCAC, but a team that's always really good, but a team that you guys handled very well inside Wilson Fieldhouse just prior to the holiday break.
Yeah, they're always a quality team. They were really good last year. Obviously beat us in the conference tournament championship and went to the national championship as well. They only lost one senior from that group, and kind of, brought back a whole bunch of people and added a couple pieces. But they're a nice group, and it's another tough place to play. It's always hard on the road. So it's a good team and a good atmosphere. And, the first game we really played well. And again, it started with our defense. They have, two really good players in Brooks Haddock and Caleb Stokes, and those guys can both really fill it up and hurry. And lucky for us, we match up well with Jaquan and Andre guarding those guys. So it was a fun game up here, and it's kind of a rivalry we have with that team. I think that's if you would poll our guys, like, hey, who's the one team in this league you really want to beat, I think that we would all say Oklahoma Wesleyan, and so I know it's going to be a battle down there, and our guys are going to be excited and ready to go, and should be a fun game to watch.
Is there anything you take from, other than a little bit of a revenge factor, and now it's at their place for them, what else do you kind of tell your guys before you go in? Because I mean, they remember what happened 33 days ago when they came up here. This time you have to go down and try and take care of business at their place. What's maybe a little different that you might tell your guys?
No, I think, they're gonna, I'm just gonna be a broken record with them. They're gonna hear that we've got to guard, we've got to rebound, we've got to do those things, and we've got to share the ball. That's really what I write pretty much the same stuff on the board every time, So because it's not a magic formula, it's just what works for us. So we got to stick to those things, and the biggest thing is they understand that it's gonna be a hostile environment. That it's always hard on the road with the officials, with they're actually thinking to have a crowd since they're in Oklahoma, and you can do whatever you want in Oklahoma, apparently. So, it's one of the few places that they're actually allowing visiting fans. So, there should be a pretty good crowd. So, it's a hostile environment, and our guys just have to be ready for that, and got to play through whatever and stick together, and things will go well for us if we do that.
And a hostile environment is something the guys that have been around before and have seen, absolutely, because, KCAC has some good crowds around for sure, and they're used to kind of an amped atmosphere, like we've talked about before, how amped Wilson Fieldhouse can seem even with just 100 students coming in, and the faculty and staff and everybody. But one more question I have for you tonight, kind of take a little bit away from that. We discussed a little bit off the air earlier. Last year recruiting was kind of interrupted at the end of the basketball season, obviously ended your guys' season the way it did. And so recruiting's been different. How much has it changed from maybe last March to now with high schools back playing again, junior college is doing the same, and getting out to see guys and get recruiting going?
Yeah, this will be I'm actually going to a high school game tomorrow night. It'll be the first high school game I've been to all year, which is pretty rare. And it's, I think, the first or second high school game anybody in our staff has been to. So, just gyms have been shut down, and, they're limiting people that are getting in. So, so much of our recruiting has been online, has been virtual. Even our local kids just can't get out and see them play. So, we're all excited to go see one of our top recruits tomorrow play, and kind of, I guess it gives us a little bit more feeling of normalcy, So we've got a kid named Elijah Mason out of Oklahoma who's signed. He's a 6'3", 6'4", kind of inside-out guy, really athletic, great young man. He's signed and going to join us next year. We've had some highlights of his on Twitter, and got a couple good point guards in the mix. We'd like to bring in a young point guard that can kind of play behind our seniors next year and kind of learn our stuff. Point guards, I'm really hard on point guards. I'm really tough on those guys. I love them, but I'm tough on them. So you got to have a certain demeanor and thick skin to play point guard for me. And I've told both those guys that, so we'll see if either one of them show up. But and then we're really just probably needing another big. I think with the NAI allowing people to come back, we've got a lot of our seniors that could graduate or aren't quite ready to graduate, but they're going to come back and either finish their degree next year, maybe start a master's program. So it'll be exciting to have a lot of those guys back for another year, and but we're going to keep recruiting, and we're always looking for good players, no matter the age or the position. So, but it's definitely been a challenge, but I think we've done a good job of handling that challenge.
Nice. Well, yeah, and it's always important. I mean, even with that free year, or that extra year that everybody's kind of getting, how are you kind of having to balance that? Is there any difference? Because instead of losing maybe a class of, I believe, 7 or 8 seniors on your roster right now, those guys can all stick around again, to bring in freshmen. They might not get a whole lot of court time to year one, but, it could be year 2, and it's their turn to step in.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. I mean, we've just been very honest with, our recruits, and we're just not looking to fill as many positions, whether it's on our varsity or our junior varsity. So we're, it's a tough time to be a high school senior right now, looking for a spot. So, I think it's the right decision by the NAI, and really all of college basketball is doing it. I don't know how else you can do it, to be fair, but it is hard on those high school kids. So, I think there's going to be some diamond in the roughs to come out. I think some of these maybe kids that can even go a higher level aren't going to have an opportunity at a higher level, and maybe we can, swoop in there and grab a diamond in the rough or a steal here or there. So it's unique, it's different, but luckily we're all in the same boat, and so it's we're all dealing with the same pandemic and the same rules. So we'll get through it, and we'll get back to some normalcy here eventually.
All right. Well, Coach, you've been playing well here, especially since the break. Again, a tough ball game on Saturday, and then, as you said, another tough week next week. You turn around and play Southwestern and Tabor once again. Southwestern at least coming to Wilson Fieldhouse. You get to come back and take on the Mound Builders there, and then have to go on the road to Hillsboro for Tabor. But starts with Saturday's game, so good luck against Oklahoma Wesleyan, and we appreciate you being out here again tonight.
Yep, my pleasure, Luke. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, we're going to take our next time out. When we come back, we will be joined by Ottawa women's basketball coach Tarnisha Scott, who's got her team playing well here, and we'd love to hear her thoughts on how the ladies are playing, but we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back shortly. You're listening to Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk from PrimeTime Grille here on 1220 and 103.7 FM, KOFO.
You know why your tagline is not "when it's game time, it's prime time"? Well, how many screens do you have at home? At PrimeTime Grille at Fusion Alley, you've got over 40 screens to watch whatever game time it is, including the Ottawa High and Ottawa Middle School teams through the USD 290 Ottawa Sports Network. PrimeTime Grille can stream any of the games you request. Support your hometown team and enjoy the fine Kansas cuisine of PrimeTime Grille at the same time at primetime. Appetizers, drinks, entrees, salads, and more while you watch the Cyclones or the Whirlwinds in action. Now you know, when it's game time, it's prime time. Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know you're comprehensive from your collision, your no fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa, or visit online at keithking.net.
This is Craig Dingle of Dingle & Son Mortuary. When you buy a monument from us, you can count on us to set your stone so that it will remain stable through the years. We pour a substantial amount of fresh concrete with stabilizing piers for the base. A monument is a permanent recording of your family history, and you have every right to expect it to be standing straight and tall for future generations to see. We have been here for generations, and we'll be here to back our guarantee.
Dingle & Son Mortuary, 785-242-2323. It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education, Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
Time to put on for the whole world.
NFL Network is your home for the playoffs.
The game has changed.
This is where it's all on the line.
This is going to live forever.
And anything can happen.
An insane game.
14 teams after it. And NFL Network is here for it.
A big showdown.
With around-the-clock coverage.
This is going to be unbelievable. Touchdown!
Every round, every week, every minute, until a champion is crowned.
Let's go!
NFL Network, here for the playoffs.
At the Home Depot's Days of Doing Winter Bath event, it's never been easier to turn a small project into a big improvement. Start with a wide selection of stylish vanities from only $139. New low prices on faucets starting at only $59. Why not do something nice for your bathroom, your budget, and yourself? Come to the Winter Bath event, going on now at the Home Depot at homedepot.com/bath. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Valid through February 28th while supplies last.
And back here at PrimeTime Grille, Luke Quaden with you for Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk. Here in this segment, we will be joined by women's head coach Tarnisha Scott. Coach, welcome back to the show. Been a while, but good to have you back this semester.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And I don't know where to start. Honestly, with your team since we last saw you, quite a few games in there. But let's start with the recent ones as the girls playing well. let's just put it as blunt as we can. 4 in a row here, and grinding a couple of them out, but some of them, yesterday had a pretty good size lead, and shooters started making shots for Oklahoma Wesleyan to trim that down. But girls stepped up defensively, started getting the rebounds, and knocked down some free throws to win it at the end.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, we played, I think, 5 games since I last spoke to you, and I mean, it's just been, it's been a grind. It's been a grind. These kids have been committed to defense, in practice. We've been committed to the little things, and I think that's what you see showing up in these games, A lot of this stuff starts in practice and just making sure we're more disciplined, making sure we create great habits for ourselves so that when we get in these tough situations like you saw yesterday, we're able to kind of grind it out and just trying to create an environment with a lot of great mental toughness and things like that. But I just think that defensively we've played much better, this semester so far, and a lot of that has led to some easy things happening for us on offense. But like you just mentioned, Oklahoma Wesleyan did what they do, They shoot, right? And, you knew that you weren't going to play a 40-minute game and they weren't going to get hot at some point, I'm just proud of our group because we were able to kind of push through it,
Absolutely. And, you guys kind of spread it out a little bit there. And then, the old adage I was always taught, when you're on, shoot, when you're off, shoot until you're on. And Oklahoma Wesleyan goes with that attitude and got some players that can put it in there. Goodwin and Nealis especially, highly talented basketball players, and did a great job of limiting them. But sometimes shooters just make shots.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great team. I think they're like number 6 in the country with 3-pointers made per game. They're averaging 10 made a game, average, So we know, like I said, you're not going to play them in a 40-minute game and they don't get hot at some point. But our job was that we kind of preached over and over again to our kids was make them take contested shots. Make sure, because you don't want them out there standing like they're shooting on the shooting machine, right? So make them take contested shots, make everything difficult, commit to defense on every single possession. And I think we did a great job of that, for most of the game. We had some breakdowns, and one thing about Oklahoma Wesleyan, they're a really good team, and every time we had a breakdown, they executed off of it, So we got a quick turnaround. We play them again on Saturday over at Oklahoma Wesleyan, so those things we definitely have to clean up. We got to make sure we're executing a little bit better on offense as well and finishing around the basket. I thought in that game we missed some easy layups at the beginning, and you don't want to go over there and do that,
Yeah.
So we have some things we need to clean up, but this group, they're committed to it. They're committed to it, like you said, 4 in a row right now, but I don't think we're satisfied, So I think that's the biggest difference. We're still hungry, we're still trying to work to get better each and every day, and they've really shown to be committed to that.
And, they did absolutely just that. From what I saw sitting up there in the crow's nest last night, getting the call that one, what I saw was a great team win. Amir Lowe, let's just say first half, she could have thrown it behind her head and it might have gone in. It was coming out of her hand great, and right on line every time. Even the shots she missed, I almost was calling them good halfway there. And the second half looked like Oklahoma Wesleyan kind of tried to force her a little bit out of what she was doing in the first half, and then when they do that, Haley Anderson finds her shooting stroke and hits 3 threes in the second half, ends up with 19 points. I think Amir had 17 on the day. It was a whole team involved. It started with the defense. Forcing, I think it was 12 or 13 steals in the ball game, and that turned into offense. But it wasn't just relying on one person to score the basketball.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's going to make us tough down the stretch. That we have so many kids who can get going. Watching that, we went back and broke down film today and all those things. Watching that, I think they came in with a strong emphasis on our post players, and every time they caught it, they doubled down right away, because we're coming off that game where Kinesia Payne has 20 and like 14 or something, right? Mm-hmm. And so obviously, they every time they catch, they're doubling down, but then it just allows an opportunity for someone else to step up, and that's what happened. Amir Lowe got some going. Haley Anderson, in that first half, she only had 4 points. Like you said, finishes the game with 19. So I think that's what makes you tough. Kinesia Payne still She finished the game with 12. Liz Vaughn had 11. When you can get multiple people involved, you can be really, really tough, for the other team's defense. The team just got to stop one or two people, then, usually they're able to do that. But when everyone's locked in and everyone's committed and everyone's a threat, I think that's when we're really difficult to handle.
And it wasn't, might not even been all scoring, too. Some of it was ball handling, defense, rebounding, the commitment to that. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but it seemed like everybody made a contribution. Almost a double-double for a couple people again. You brought up the game against Kansas Wesleyan last weekend. Kenesia Payne, 20 points, 14 boards. You just got to say something about it, because when somebody gets a double-double like that and was really dominant against a good post team in Kansas Wesleyan, and it wasn't just her. It looked like you committed to those posts in that ball game, whether it was Liz Vaughn, Mariah Grizzle, Kenesia Payne. It was going down through the post in that matchup against Kansas Wesleyan, and that was another fun game. You were exhausted afterwards. I remember you saying that, but get the win there, 67-61. You backed it up with that 80-73 win. But let's go back to a couple games before that. Came back from the break, took a loss on the road at Bethel, but since then took on York and the University of St. Mary, a couple teams you had seen previously and had defeated you, and then flipped the script on them and handled both of them rather well. Big went 65-50 over York, 70-44 over St. Mary. Just really, that was kind of, I got to watch those games on the live stream as they weren't here, but, it looked to me as that was kind of when the girls kind of turned the corner a little bit and really started playing your type of basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to kind of comment about, me really getting on to them about feeding it down to the post, I just think that we have some really good post players, as you just mentioned, Kenesia Payne, Mariah Grizzle, Liz Vaughn. I mean, those kids, they're tough. They're tough to defend, and I think I tell our team a lot of times we go into these games, we're preparing for the other team, and we're doing scouting reports, and you got to defend them this way and do these things, but you guys are a force, At the same time, make them defend you, make them work just equally as hard to defend you, and then you'll end up, what'll happen is you'll end up getting some of those easy ones, because they're going to be exhausted trying to fight around you. They're going to be exhausted, trying to get into a position, so just keep working, let it happen, stay consistent through the flow of the game. And every time we've had games where at least one of our post players would dominate, it always opens up open shots for those kids on the outside, and then you get to play easy basketball, right?
Yeah.
So then you're not doing a lot trying to create on your own. The ball goes inside out, makes the defense respond. We give ball reversals. We've been talking about that. Makes the defense shift, makes the defense work. So although we do have a couple talented kids, and our kids are working hard, you still want to make the defense work. And I think that just being patient in our offense, allowing things to happen, making them defend all five people on the floor, those things have been really, really big for us. Going into that St. Mary's game, we were disappointed with the first game. We knew that we didn't want that first game at home to go that way, but so we wanted to prove something. We wanted to prove that, hey, we can compete in this conference, and we want to be competitive in each and every game, and they just responded. We made a great adjustments, and our kids responded well.
And absolutely have. We've talked about, mentioned the 4 in a row, and just to put it a little bit in perspective, after that first loss to Bethel after the break, you're 3-6 in conference. Now you're a game over 500, 7-6 in conference, and have really I've watched it make that move up the conference standings, and fighting against. Now it's getting real jumbled up there, right around that 500 mark. But you took a big step, 2 games I think ahead of Oklahoma Wesleyan right now, who just beat last night, and then you get to turn around and go on the road. And I asked Coach Bruce Tate this last night. I said, in all your years of coaching in the KCAC, have you ever played somebody back-to-back? And the only time was the end of the regular season, the first round of the KCAC tournament. So this season has just been a jumbled mess, and getting these games in is something, and here you are turning around back-to-back Oklahoma Wesleyan. So what maybe you were going to say, bring to your team to say, hey, we just took care of business at home against these, this team. Now we've got to go to their place and do the same thing. How do you approach that, with your team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we can use it to our advantage, because I think it's still fresh, right? It's still fresh. We make adjustments, to how we're going to do some things defensively. Like I said earlier, defensively, holistically, I thought we were solid, but we had some breakdowns, This is a team that averages 75 points a game, and I don't want to and I told our team today, I don't want to have us in a situation on the road where we've got to score 80 points on the road to win a ball game, right? So that means you got to do a better job defensively, right? On those breakdowns, we can't have those every single time off of those, So I just think that it's going to come down to trying to limit their shot selection, make things more difficult for them, especially at home. They're going to shoot the ball really, really well in their gym. And just like we talked earlier about us being upset about, the St. Mary win and then going over there, they're upset, I'm sure. I'm sure that they're ready for this game on Saturday. And it's just about us not being satisfied. It's about every single game we want to compete at a high level. We want to show that what happened yesterday, it wasn't a fluke. We were prepared. Our kids worked hard, and I think if we do those things, you'll come out in a good situation. So staying consistent. We're going to make some adjustments, obviously, but the easy thing is we just played them. So those adjustments are fresh. You know what you're going to see, based on how they did some different things defensively with us, some of the sets that they run. It's not a lot. It's not too much time to where everyone makes major adjustments, right? But it's enough time to make really good adjustments that put us in a good situation to go and take care of business.
And I want to point out one thing before I go to break here and just get your thoughts on this. There's a big play in yesterday's game that Bruce and I talked about during the broadcast is a player that doesn't score the basketball too much for you. As Oklahoma Wesleyan had gotten hot and really trimmed that lead down. And Alyssa Guzman pulls up, hits a three from the corner to take a lead that had been cut down to 2 at the time, I believe, back up to a 2-possession ball game. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like all the momentum was with Oklahoma Wesleyan, and that shot really changed it with just right around 3 minutes to go for you guys, and your team just took over. And I just wanted to make sure we said her name on the radio and just kind of get your thoughts about that shot. And from a player that never looks for her shot unless she's kind of going to the basket, really, past first point guard, great defender, and a great team player.
Oh, my goodness. I can't say enough about Alyssa. Oh, man, I'm so happy for Alyssa. She's a kid who works. Oh, my goodness, she works. And to see her have a game like she had yesterday, she was great for us defensively. She made some other great plays. I mean, just being a point guard and controlling the flow in our offense, she did a fabulous job, And to see something that amazing happen for her, I couldn't be more proud. But here's the thing. If you see Alyssa Guzman in practice, you're not surprised about that shot, right? Because she shoots them with a lot of confidence in practice, and that's been my thing, is to say, hey, I saw this kid when I came in, and I said, Alyssa, you're going to be well for us, So it was about giving her that confidence to say, I don't care, because we watched film today, and that same shot she made, she missed earlier. Same exact shot. She missed earlier in the first half. It's okay. Because then you came back and you hit the big one. So I just think it's about continuing to support them and saying, hey, you're okay. You'll get another opportunity. Knock it down. So man, I'm extremely proud of Alyssa.
And it was a big shot in that game, and you guys come away with the 80-73 win. We're going to take our final break here, and when we come back, we'll have our final thoughts with Coach Tarnisha Scott as they get prepared to take on Oklahoma Wesleyan yet again, and then a big week next week against Southwestern and Tabor. We are going to take a quick timeout. You're listening to Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk from here at the PrimeTime Grille on 1220 and 103.7 FM. KOFO.
It's never too late to become who you're supposed to be. However, sometimes you may need a little help. Ottawa University can get you there. Their faculty and staff are dedicated to preparing graduates for a lifetime of significance. With dozens of degree programs, including accounting, engineering, human services, and marketing, as well as graduate degrees in business administration and education, Ottawa University will prepare you for whatever or whoever you want to be. Don't wait. Get started today. Find out more by visiting online at ottawa.edu.
This is Craig Dingle of Dingle and Son Mortuary. We love all of our kids and do stuff for them all the time, even the grown-up kids. I have a suggestion of something you can do that you may not have thought of. Make your funeral arrangements. You can't imagine how stressful it is for families who have no clue as to what their folks wanted or where to find all the information needed for the death certificate. We can help you make formal arrangements, or we can give you forms to fill out at home. Give us a call at any one of our funeral homes. We're glad to help.
Dingle and Son Mortuary, 785-242-2323.
You know why your tagline is not "When it's game time, it's prime time"? Well, how many screens do you have at home? At PrimeTime Grille at Fusion Alley, you've got over 40 screens to watch whatever game time it is, including the Ottawa High and Ottawa Middle School teams through the USD 290 Ottawa Sports Network. PrimeTime Grille can stream any of the games you request. Support your hometown team and enjoy the fine Kansas cuisine of PrimeTime Grille at the same time at PrimeTime. Appetizers, drinks, entrees, salads, and more while you watch the Cyclones or the Whirlwinds in action. Now you know, when it's game time, it's prime time. Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know you're comprehensive from your collision, your no fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa or visit online at keithking.net.
Time to put on for the whole world.
NFL Network is your home for the playoffs.
The game has changed.
This is where it's all on the line.
This is going to live forever.
And anything can happen.
An insane game.
14 teams after it. And NFL Network is here for it.
A big showdown.
With around-the-clock coverage.
This is going to be unbelievable. Touchdown!
Every round, every week, every minute, until a champion is crowned.
Let's go!
NFL Network, here for the playoffs. Last night's sleep? Interrupted by pain? Tonight, silence it. With new ZQL Night Pain. Restful sleep, now with powerful pain relief. ZQL Night Pain combines America's #1 sleep aid with a maximum strength pain reliever. So you can fall asleep fast and wake feeling rested, because pain should never get in the way of a great night's sleep. New ZQL Night Pain. Silence pain. Sleep soundly. Available at retailers near you.
And back here out at PrimeTime Grille, Luke Queen, along with women's head coach Tarnisha Scott here for Braves Hoop Talk. And Coach Scott, as we've got just a few minutes left here, we've kind of talked a little bit about Saturday's upcoming game because it's a quick turnaround as you got Oklahoma Wesleyan. And like we talked during the break, glad you got that game in because the team's playing really well right now, and you'd hate to have a whole dang week off. Between games, you want to keep that momentum going. Kind of grind it out against Kansas Wesleyan, get the victory against Oklahoma Wesleyan, turn around and play the Eagles again. But then next week, looking at Southwestern coming to Wilson Fieldhouse and Tabor. Got a little quick insight before next week because those games will be played before we talk there. Well, at least the Southwestern game will be played before we talk again. But, a little insight on Southwestern maybe before next Wednesday. If you've looked at that far in advance, I'm sure you've gotten a little bit into it, but, not much for the team yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, right now we're definitely one game at a time. Right now our objective is to definitely be locked in on Oklahoma Wesleyan, but even, for the staff looking ahead at Southwestern, they're struggling a little bit this year, but one thing for sure is we're trying to create some consistency in what we do, and that shouldn't matter who you play, right? We have to be consistent. If we're going to be a great defensive team, then that's something that you can commit to each and every night, and that's my message, I don't care who's coming in here to play or where we're going. Be committed to all the details, to all the little things, do what we do well, and then usually it kind of takes care of itself, So be competitive. Southwestern, that, like I said, they're struggling this year. They're going to come in here. Everyone wants to win, right? Nobody's coming in here saying, hey, it's okay if we just let Ottawa beat us. So they're going to come in here, and they're going to be competitive, right? And they're going to try to knock us down. But I think we just have to remain consistent. And that's kind of our thing right now.
Well, and obviously the consistency has been there, especially the last 4 games. It's not to say that it wasn't there early on. But, the first time you played some of these schools, it was games 2, 3, and 4 in the season. And, new coach, new players, kind of melding everybody together and, had some time to practice and do those type of things, and then also playing the games. And now you can kind of see it all coming together here. At what I consider the right time to be coming together. As we were talking at the break, you've got basically 30 days left in the regular season and going to play 11 basketball games in that time. 2 games next week, 3 games the following week. So there's a lot of basketball coming up, and that's the best time to be playing your best basketball.
Absolutely. A lot of basketball coming in, and a lot of great coaches will say you need to peak at the right time. So I think that's what we're doing right now. So that's a really great feeling.
Absolutely. And as I've gotten to be on the call for, the last few ball games, something that, we kind of touched on it earlier is the fact that, Haley Anderson's leading the team in scoring. She did it again yesterday, but it was Kenesia Payne last Saturday. And, you can see Amir Lowe obviously has the ability. She put up 14 or 15 in the first half yesterday. Kenesia was a big second half against Kansas Wesleyan. You've got a lot of different options who are developing into their roles right now at the right time of the season.
Absolutely. I think that right now we have a group of young ladies who are committed to their roles, and I think they know. They know that any given night that it can be my night. And I think what makes us so special is they're okay if today is her night, right? Let me feed you, let me get you the ball, right? Because they understand that at any given moment, if the defense decides not to guard me because they're doubling down on you, then I have the ability to make open shots like Alyssa Guzman did, on yesterday. So I think we just have a team that is committed to the success of the program, and I think that's what's going to take us on to the next level.
And it looks like they're committed to each other. And that's a very, very fun thing that I've been able to watch here recently. Coach, congratulations on the success that you're having right now, and absolutely continued success with the rest of the season, and a big week coming up here for you. That's all the time we've got tonight, or else I'd sit here and talk basketball with you for hours. Absolutely. But I appreciate you joining with me again tonight. Good luck this weekend and next week. We'll plan to see you next Thursday night with a little bit more, hopefully a couple victories to talk about. But for tonight, it is all we've got here out at PrimeTime Grille. You've been listening to Ottawa University Braves Hoop Talk on 1220 and 103.7 FM, KOFO.
Your number one choice for information, sports, and entertainment in East Central Kansas. KOFO, K279CS Ottawa, where keeping you informed comes first.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm